Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ultimate Spy Peter here, and today I'm starting a new series that mainly focuses on movie reviews and some TV show reviews. I may have an episode or two that features a TV show, but I don't know, it might happen. Yeah, this new series is called Reviewed. This is Reviewed number 1, starting off with Star Wars, in particular Star Wars Prequel Trilogy. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, the Star Wars Prequel Trilogy was terrible. But this is just a review, of course, this series is basically about reviewing different, franchises. So, starting off, I just want to have a little, I have a little thing here that has all 3 episodes, as you can see. For episode 1, well, having seen it, it's about 20 minutes of just Star politics. It's like the original trilogy. It wasn't even. That was Star Wars. But this, it's. I mean, it's. Um. It's kind of pointless to call it Star Wars if like the first 20 minutes of it, like there's all this, this stuff. Like basically, it's politics stuff. It's like the Queen and everything, and there's a lot of CGI and stuff. I'm just gonna play a little trailer for you. So yeah, this is so far Phantom Menace. I thought that they did for example, they introduced one of the worst characters possible, Jar Jar. I mean, honestly, it wasn't a bad choice, because they really invented a species. I'm not gonna do much. They really did, and I thought it was. I'm just gonna play a little trailer for you. So yeah, this is so far Phantom Menace. I thought that they did for example, they introduced one of the worst characters possible, Jar Jar. I mean, honestly, it wasn't a bad choice, because they really invented a species. Was really well done. I mean, yeah, he's kind of annoying and he's part of comic relief, and it's like, oh, Jar Jar Binks ruined the movie for me. It's like, there's nothing wrong with all these new species. I mean, seriously. I mean, yeah, the space battles and in CGI that looks not very good. And of course, you see Jar Jar's being all stupid right there. And look at that CGI right there. A lot of CGI. But honestly, the CGI is not bad. I like the effect. You can see the effect. And like I like how the first episode you like episode 4 was like, oh my gosh, you see Obi-Wan Kenobi for the first time, like, awesome, man. And then episode 1, you get the origin story of both Obi-Wan. Well, it's not really origin story. Like, it's like where Obi-Wan began. Let me pause this for a moment so I can go back to Yoda here. I mean, just before we go to like they had like Obi-Wan was originally an old man in episode 4, and then in episode 1 you get this Padawan, like this is where he comes from. It was originally a Padawan. Same thing with Anakin Skywalker. Like Darth Vader, we finally get the origin story of Darth Vader. The show is basically Darth Vader. How he became Darth Vader was a little slave boy on Tatooine who became Jedi and became Darth Vader. Like the entire trilogy spans his journey from becoming a slave boy / like young Jedi youngling to this Sith, and it's like this big change. So yeah, Yoda here. I thought that they for episode 1, they kind of took the same thing for episode 5, which was the introduction of the original introduction of Yoda. The next episode I'll talk a little. I'll actually explain. That's my next review is the original trilogy. But for episode 1, I thought that that Yoda, it just like, well, they could have done better. Honestly, I mean, it's a puppet, but I mean that's the closest you're gonna get to actual practical effects, because like in episode 2 you get CGI Yoda, and then episode 3 you get CGI Yoda, and they really released the first episode of Star Wars. Sorry, my phone's going off. Sorry. They released the first episode of Star Wars using CGI Yoda, and there's a comparison video for that. I'll leave that in the description. But it just really, I mean, in my opinion, I like how they changed that. Yeah, this is coming from a first time reviewer. I'm just saying that I don't like it. So yeah, this is just Yoda, and see all these CGI effects. But it looked better. It does. It's like a new generation of Star Wars, and Yoda does look good. And you get dual blade lightsaber, which is pretty cool. You get all these. I mean, it's a lot of politics, yes, but it's a good movie. Like they also C-3PO right there. You get the origins of where C-3PO came in, because the original was in episode 4 and episode 6, and actually this is also the first time where they marketed it as episode 1. Like originally they did not market it as episode 1. They simply said Star Wars, where actually was originally they called it Star Wars, and then they called it Star Wars, and then it was original, and then it went to episode 4 in I think it was 04. Yeah. That's when George Lucas released it with subtitle episode 4, which is kind of weird, but for me, episode 1 of Star Wars, they did a pretty good job with just the effects. They look good, and I mean, but mainly in my opinion, I like the fact that they really explored the origin story for a couple of characters, meaning actually 3 characters: C-3PO, R2D, actually 4 characters if you think about it. R2D2 was originally in the original trilogy. It turns out R2D2 was actually one of the queen's droids. Just one of the droids that just happened to be in the hangar bay on the ship. When they were going to Tatooine. That was just his origin story. Then you got Obi-Wan. He originally was an old man in episode 4, and then he became, and then in the prequel trilogy, he goes from being a Padawan to one of the greatest Jedi Masters in the entire Star Wars universe, in my opinion. I mean, they probably got some other people's opinions, but and then they also got Anakin Skywalker. Obviously, that's like a big origin story there, like how he became from going to a kid to becoming a Jedi to becoming pure evil. I mean, it sets up. I like how it sets up a lot of things. So I'm gonna go on to the next episode. So episode 2. Just skip ahead here. I don't need to see this stuff. Okay. So episode 2, you get the. I thought that the whole thing where you have Anakin, a little kid Anakin, falling for, so right there, CGI Yoda. That's not bad. You got little Anakin falling for a adult Padme, and then episode 2, you have suddenly Anakin's all like a teenager and stuff in Padawan, and well, the Queen / Senator or Padme is basically the same age. It's a little creepy that way, because suddenly Star Wars works. You just suddenly have a character who has a crush in the first movie in episode 1 in episode 2 to have suddenly they're the same age now, and they're falling in love with each other. It's just like, I thought it was just accelerated. It doesn't really make sense. So yeah, CGI Yoda, they a little more better effects. Obi-Wan has more beard. You can tell he's starting to grow into the one we see in the episode 4. A lot more CGI. You can see a lot of effects. What really confuses me, I think you saw there, was he look. So you have Obi-Wan in his regular robe, and then you got Anakin in his dark robe. I don't know what the approach was. Were they trying to like get him to look more evil or something, or what's the deal here? Because I'm guessing that that was just maybe he was special or something, so he got a special kind of dark robes or something. It doesn't really make sense. But it's just it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Um, yeah, it doesn't really clear up anything at all. Okay. I mean, clearly it's supposed to imply that he goes to the dark side at the end of episode 3, or towards the middle, like halfway through the episode 3, which, but it still doesn't really like add up. Like, why he's a Jedi? All the Jedi have pale robes or whatever, and suddenly he has like this leather looking robe with like like this black leather robe thing. It's confusing, and plus he has like a black cloak, and all the other Jedi have a brown cloak, and then of course in episode 6 you get the ghost of Anakin, and of course they released it with Hayden Christensen's head on it, which and then he uses his original clothes, original like so maybe he turned the dark. Anyway, I'll talk about that in the next episode. So yeah, let me continue this. So yeah, it just, I mean, I like, Obi-Wan, of course, changes and everything, and he starts he starts to become a little more angry with things as the movie goes on, because this is like episode 2 is basically like chapter 2 of his ascension to Darth Vader, which kind of makes sense. And like a lot, like I just noticed like a lot of holograms, not as much holograms in the original trilogy, but quite a lot of holograms. And of course the introduction of Jango Fett and Boba Fett too, which is also in the original trilogy, of course only in episode 5 and a little bit of 6. So yeah, a lot of space battles, and it like the asteroid field right there. Let me go back. Yeah, this asteroid, no, actually it's a little bit further, it's a little before that. So yeah, this asteroid kind of reminds me of episode 5, where they had an asteroid battle, which makes sense. A lot of just, I mean, a lot like, right, no, not yet, that one. It's like right here. See, there's a lot of like, I just obviously added that in there, which is not bad, because you can, that's just really cool, because you can tell that they're not I mean, obviously if you know behind the scenes stuff, you're gonna tell, oh, they're not actually filming in a real planet. They're not really filming there. Also, interesting enough, Mace robes are purple, which kind of makes sense because are purplish, because it kind of makes sense because he's played by Samuel L. Jackson, which is a black actor, and he has a purple lightsaber. So he's kind of like the dark version. He's a darker skinned, which makes sense. I mean, I like how Palpatine kind of protects him. Like he kind of shows up is not. I mean, look at that, politics, always politics. I just thought that wasn't necessary. They didn't really need the politics. I mean, it's called Star Wars for a reason. It's Star Wars. I mean, it doesn't really get into like the Star Wars, the actual Star Wars until like the Clone Wars stuff. I thought everything did a really good portrayal. I like how C-3PO kind of starts to look more like C-3PO instead of his naked parts. He actually kind of looks silver. Or he actually starts to look like parts. I mean, I don't think he doesn't get until like episode 3 or something. A lot of I mean, episode 2 was one of my, in terms of Jedi battles, one of my favorite Jedi battle sequences, because there was a lot of Jedi. This entire scene, where they're in the thing was just perfect. Yeah, so you can see a lot of CGI Yoda right there. I mean, I thought that was pretty good. I thought it was. I mean, for people who don't like Yoda CGI, I thought it was not necessary, because I thought that it was pretty good. I mean, I thought that Yoda he looks better in my opinion. He looks better as a CGI character than a practical effects character, like they did in episode 1 and episode or the original release of episode 1 and episode 5. So yeah, honestly, honestly, they I like how they kind of set up the romance for Anakin and Padme. that kind of makes sense because where's Luke gonna come in the story for episode 4? So yeah, that's the episode 2. I liked how they marketed it as episode 2, but the episode 4 and 6 didn't really do that. So yeah, episode 3. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit to where they actually have action. So yeah, this is the final step of Anakin's journey. I mean, I like how episode 3 is more darker than the other two. It really makes it a lot more darker. Because obviously this is Anakin's ascension to Darth Vader. I mean, yeah, a lot more the same thing, CGI stuff. But I like how Obi-Wan, you can see in this, he looks. You can see. Let me go a little further. No, a little. Yeah. See, he looks more like a Jedi Master. I mean, obviously. Let me get right there. He looks, nice haircut, nice hairstyle. Like episode 2, he had the kind of the longish hair, and of course the beard is a little more trimmer now. And still Anakin's still in his like dark robes, which doesn't really make. Okay, so right there, you can tell that he's already the dark side. So you can tell that that he's I kind of, this whole scene was just pretty. That's not how it should have ended. It was pretty cool, but pretty funny. This is like the end of the droids and everything, and it's all how it adds up, and how the clone troopers become stormtroopers and everything, and also just Anakin becoming Darth Vader, and I mean, I don't know why. He looks like look at those. They kind of, I mean, I guess they're kind of brownish, but they kind of look a little darker than normal, and then of course the whole, I don't get it. Why do they use dark robes? It doesn't make sense. Is this the point? Is the point making that he's like supposed to look like he's going to the dark side already? I mean, honestly, he's supposed to be a Jedi. Why did Jedi need to have? Does he? I mean, like I said earlier, why does he need to have that kind of robe? Like, was that? I don't really understand it. I don't know what they were going with that. Like, what were they going with that? It doesn't really make sense. I mean, I like how Ian McDiarmid came back after several years to reprise his role and actually give Palpatine an origin story. I mean, not really an origin story. Like, you know what I mean? Like show how he became Sidious, that kind of thing. So because episode 5 he used Ian McDiarmid used archive footage to. Or he filmed a scene for that movie, and then he was in episode. Yeah, I'll get to the next episode. But the point is, I just like how all these characters they get their little stories, and of course, okay, here, why can't they just come into the Jedi Temple? That's what I don't understand. They just have holograms. I think this movie just used. I mean, like episode 4 and 6. Not they didn't really use a lot of holograms, but episode 3, but the entire trilogy just used a lot of unnecessary holograms. Like, it didn't. I mean, I guess the idea was these Jedi Masters are somewhere else, and they're like, I don't know. I guess the way of escaping it or something. like it's like a way of communicating whether or not at the Jedi Temple, but it still doesn't really. I think that they didn't need to have all this holograms. It wasn't necessary. It really did not need to show that. I mean, of course, from episode 1 to episode 3, you can tell the Mace Windu is a little different. I mean, obviously you can tell this is a wig, but you can tell that Mace Windu is. I mean, obviously from 1999 technology to 05 technology, it's a lot better. Obi-Wan definitely looks better now that he did, and Padme is more pathetic looking. She acts more pathetic. I mean, honestly, the only character that I thought the acting was not very good with her was Natalie Portman's portrayal of Padme Amidala. I just thought that she acted like a princess, a damsel in distress. Someone would be waiting for her prince to save her or something like that, or Anakin in this case. I thought that she was just pathetic. I thought the acting was not great. I mean, honestly, even though I thought episode 3 was great, there are some cons. I have to admit. I like how they kept the scar from episode 2. They showed, because obviously episode 2 something happened to us, so we got a scar. Obviously shows a lot of like right this lightsaber here, that battle was obviously showed a lot of like, you know, him transforming into Darth Vader by using a lot of hate. I mean, early on in the film you could tell he's using a lot of hate. Okay, that scene here, this scene here, I don't understand why they couldn't take it down to Sidious. That doesn't make sense. Like, they're Jedi, like they could just go like bam, and suddenly Sidious is like, okay, you die. It's like that's just, I thought that was just, look at that. So he just suddenly he kills everyone, and that's just it happens so fast. It just doesn't make sense. It's just too fast. A lot of, you know, I mean, honestly, they didn't really overuse the CGI. In my opinion, I thought they could use a little less, but they didn't really overuse it. I mean, I think that the CGI effects look pretty cool, in my opinion. I just, you know, like, okay, lava scenes, that took a lot of work to do. A lot of these, of course, were inspired by, or actually, okay, look at this scene. This scene right here, this looks more like it started to move to the darker side. I mean, obviously the dark side. What I mean is, like, this is starting to go into the darker. They're finally start turning Star Wars into a kind of a darker theme of, because usually it's not as dark, but like this is starting to go really, really dark. Like, you know, Obi-Wan, he looks different. Let me show you. I'm gonna go back here out of here and just show you Obi-Wan from Abyss. Obi-Wan. Just show you that this is my opinion. Okay, so this is him from episode 1. I'm gonna go through each episode and just see how it changed. Okay, so this is episode 2, episode 3. All right. Let's see. Alright, so, going with episode 1. You can see, I'm gonna just zoom a little bit further so you can see that if you can. Sorry, the camera's not very good. It's not really, anyway, so as you can see, Obi-Wan, you could tell the evolution going from this to this. No, actually, yeah, that's all I do. Also, from going from this to this, so he gets longer hair and a beard. Nothing really changed. I mean, he loses his Padawan break because what is needed, and then to this, nice, you know, nice hairstyle, a little cut and a little more. I mean, you can tell the beard is a little more shaggy and a little more clean here. I mean, more like a goatee now. I thought that was a really cool evolution, for Obi-Wan. I mean, they want to obviously try to get him close to what it looks like in episode 4, which makes sense. Alright, let me just, okay, so, and then, oh, sorry, let me zoom out here. I think I zoomed a bit too far in. There, alright, so, and then, yeah, you get Yoda, just, I mean, this looks pretty good. I mean, this looks really, really good, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that they're like, CGI Yoda sucks. Like, nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with CGI. I mean, yeah, there are some problems with it, but in my opinion, I think that sorry, I think that the Yoda that they used for episode 2 and 3 he just looked good. In my opinion, I thought the CGI looked really realistic. I like how Chewbacca really. I liked how Chewbacca was in there, like, you know. I mean, obviously it was an origin story. Like, but I liked how he made a cameo in that. I'll be set up for episode 4. There's Yavin 4, or Tanti 4. Sorry, I can't Tanti 4. Pretty sure the starship that basically Princess Leia's starship in episode 4. Big lead up that totally references to the next episode 4. totally see right there. This is the ascension to Darth Vader. I like how that really adds up, and you can tell that's gonna happen. I'm really quite. What I would have liked is more. I like. I would have liked Aayla Secura and Kiara Moon to just kind of have more of a character, like more screen time, and also just kind of. I mean, we kind of saw Aayla Secura in episode 2 in the Dirty battle, but it wasn't as much. I mean, you really don't really get much screen time with her. I mean, honestly, she's not a really big, huge character, but like these alien Deadeye characters, they just I like when I see them, they're just really cool, and obviously this is totally the attention to Darth Vader. Totally, it totally adds up. He totally looks like he's evil. Okay, right there, that's Gold C-3PO. Totally complete. He looks so much better. He looks, of course, funny enough, doesn't look much different in episode 3 to 4. But he looks more complete, and he looks like he's ready to go. Oh, poor Pepe. I thought that was I like these fight scenes. That was a pretty good scene. But I like these fight scenes in the favorite scene. My favorite battle is not this one. The Anakin versus Obi-Wan. This scene was great. I thought it was really well done. I thought the coordination was just great. I think again the I wouldn't really call it CG, just like maybe it was like the scenery the scenery that wasn't there, obviously, because you could tell it wasn't there, but when they added it, it just looks so good. It just looks so cool and just amazing. A lot of lightsaber stuff. Okay, this is really cool. I like how they put it red because you can tell this is the end. This is the end of a trilogy and a start of a new one. When you see this red thing, because you can tell me I'll call it Return of the Sith, because the idea is that how Palpatine wants to get a new Sith apprentice. But I like the idea that it's all red, and that's totally a hunch to Anakin finally becoming Darth Vader in the end. And this is perfect. You can totally see this adds up to episode 4. Totally see that. I mean, obviously that's Hayden Christensen in the helmet, but like you can totally see how that's gonna add to episode 4. Totally. I mean, obviously episode 3, the end of episode 3, you can totally tell. It was just great. And honestly, it was. I mean, I thought the entire trilogy just loved to add it up. Particularly added up to episode 4. Like all these characters get there, or not, or some of them get their origin story, and also get them how they came to be episode 4. Like all the characters, you got Obi-One, you got Anakin becoming Darth Vader, you got R2-D2, don't even know where he came from. Oh, turns out he was actually he was one of the Queen's royal droids or something, and C-3PO was originally Anakin's he built, and then he left Tatooine, and then you got that's all the characters. Yeah, that's all. I just love. I mean, also little bit of Chewbacca. That was a nice little nod to it. I liked how that worked out, and the effects just looked phenomenal. Yes, I can agree that they weren't all great, but I thought they were just spot on, and they deserved a lot. And I thought this entire trilogy just was great. I thought it was really, really well done. You get this full screen here so I can show you. I thought the entire trilogy, the entire Star Wars Prequel Trilogy was great. I liked each character. I mean, I liked how it looked good. I mean, a lot of people are dissing Jar Jar. Please don't. And I mean, not maybe just a little bit, but not all the time, because they make a great character. They don't make a pretty stupid character, but hey, they invented a whole race for Gungans. I mean, seriously, they invented a race. Yeah, they may not be good, but I mean, they invented all these origin stories for these characters, where everyone came from. They invented all these new races. I think there was a new ET in episode 1. Yeah, a little bit of CGI Yoda, which in my opinion looked great. So that was really, really cool. So yeah, this is my review on the prequel trilogy of Star Wars. So yeah, this will be a weekly series. And I'll so yeah yeah I'll be doing the next episode for the original trilogy, because why the hell not? So yeah, this is the end of my first episode of my review series called Reviewed. Um, yeah, it might be a dumb name, but it's the best I can think of, and I think it'll stick. So yeah, thank you for watching the first episode of Reviewed, and I will see you next time for the next episode. And yeah, it's I think this will be a really great series, and I really think it's gonna do well. So yeah, thanks for watching. All right, bye.